Hey everyone, my name's Stevia. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some aiming tips for Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and these can work for pretty much any Call of Duty most likely, but some of it might be more towards just Black Ops 3 because we are talking about some of the attachments today as well. But today's video is just focused on helping you improve your accuracy, because at the end of the day, accuracy is literally the most important thing in Call of Duty, because it doesn't matter if you're sitting in a corner camping the entire match, if you're rushing around, any way that you play, if you don't have good accuracy, you're gonna lose a lot of gunfights because, you can be camping in the corner and a guy will run by and you'll start shooting him in the back, but if you can't hold your aim and finish that kill, if that person has any skill at all, they'll easily be able to turn around and kill you, and that's why accuracy is just so important. Now throughout this match, as you see right here, I'm gonna slow down parts of this gameplay because I want you to see how quickly I just snap on the target and how easy it is for me to do. And obviously no one's aim is perfect, but the key is consistently aiming good, and especially game in and game out, and day in and day out, because if you have good aim one game and you do good, well, the next game, if you're not aiming good, you're not going to do good most likely. Yeah, some people are just really bad and they're worse than you and you'll still be able to get kills, but if you want to be able to play good against the better players in this game, you need that consistently good accuracy. Now one thing I want to mention here quick about this gameplay, I'm using the Cuda, which is one of my favorite SMGs. I'm sure you know that if you've been around my channel. But in this gameplay I'm using foregrip and extend-a-mags. Now, in my best class setup for the Cuda, I recommended foregrip, extend-a-mags, and rapid fire. And that is what works best for me. That's why I share with you my favorite class setup. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone else will have success with this class, because some people, have different, they have a different feel for the way weapons feel. And see right there, that was my only death in this match, and I died because my accuracy was just way off. But I feel that certain attachments can actually mess people up. It can really mess up your accuracy because you get used to using something, and then if you throw in a stock or a Quickdraw, even an optic, I think it can really screw up your feel for the weapon and really make you aim bad. But before we get right into that, I want to talk to you about what I think actually might be the most important thing in my opinion. And this is something that I see so many people just say the stupidest things about because they really mess a lot of people up when they say these things, but it's sensitivity. Now, let me tell you a little story. I've been playing Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2, and right when I started playing Modern Warfare 2, which by the way, this is when it went from 1 to 10 sensitivity, that was the original thing, but I used 5. I put it right in the middle when I started playing. I felt like that would be the best, and that's where I kept it the entire time, even up to this day. And now the thing is though, they kind of messed us up when they switched the sensitivities around because they made it from 1 to 14 and then even from 1 to 20 in one of the games. But I still figured out what was identical to 5, because in Black Ops 3 and the other games that go to 14, they actually only edited the first few sensitivities, so they would make a 1, a 1.5, a 2, a 2.5 instead of a the normal 1, 2, 3. They would add things in between those sensitivities so people could, further fine-tune them, which I kind of think is stupid. I don't think they should have done that. But, eventually I figured it out and I got my sensitivity back to where it's supposed to be. But here's the thing. I still remember back during Black Ops 1, I was playing, I can't remember what map it was, but I just had my friend over my house and I let him play on my system. I think he put his account on here or something, and he used a 4 sensitivity and I used a 5. So he was playing or whatever, he switched the sensitivity to 4. Then later that night he left and I hopped on to play again, and I started playing and I was like, what is going on? Why is my aim off? Why is my aim so bad right now? Because, I wasn't used to my aim being that bad. So, I'm playing, I'm still trying to figure it out, and then I go look at my sensitivity and I'm like, it's on 4. That's why I'm aiming like this. So, after playing for so long, you get used to a sensitivity, and that's what you want to do. I hear so many people say, start it here and then move it up one at a time, move it up a couple at a time. No. When you're starting out, you want to pick a sensitivity, and you want to literally keep it there and get used to it, because that's what's going to get you to aim good. And once you learn how to aim on a sensitivity, no, that doesn't mean you switch it up or down. You want to keep it there because that's how you're going to aim good. I hear so many people saying to change it around all the time and do things like that, no. And, the only thing I will say, that you should change, if, say you're on a 2 or a 1, right now, that's what you've been playing on, I don't think you should keep it there because, my girlfriend actually played on that, and I'm watching her play and I'm like, how do you even play like that? Because you turn so slow, literally someone can run by you faster than you can even turn, and it's literally impossible. So I would recommend the lowest sensitivity you use is around a 3. maybe a 2. I would say 3 or 4 though, because, you know, 1 and 2 is just so slow. It's just not fast enough to react to things at all. So what I suggest is that you pick a sensitivity that you kind of feel comfortable with and that you can handle to start out, and then just leave it there and get used to it, because I promise you over time you will learn to be able to aim really well, but you have to keep it on that same sensitivity, because right when you change it, you're just going to mess yourself right up. Now let's talk about a few attachments that can either improve your accuracy or completely destroy it. And the first thing is optics. Now if you like an iron sight, and I think the best way to test these kind of things is just to see how you do with a weapon when you have no attachments on it when you first start using it. Or if you're already past that point, you know, just go back to not using attachments. But, you know, if you like an iron sight, usually the iron sights work the best because the guns kind of like they turn when you're aiming down sight and someone's running across your screen. But when you have a red dot sight, the gun doesn't do that. It just kind of, the red dot sight just moves and it just doesn't feel as natural. It doesn't feel right. And, you know, to me, you know, maybe this is just a personal feel thing for me, but I really think that if you like iron sights, if you can see well with them and you like the way they look and things like that, I think you should use the iron sights, because not only are you wasting an attachment putting an optic on it, but you might even be hurting your feel for the weapon, and that will definitely reduce your accuracy. I'm not saying never to use optics, because obviously some weapons have really bad iron sights and they're just like impossible to use, but just try the weapon with the iron sights first, and then if you just can't do it, then put the optics on. Now the next attachment I want to talk about is Quickdraw, and this is an attachment that you pretty much always in every Call of Duty game unlock really quickly. It's one of the first attachments that you can unlock. And now the thing is, if you use a weapon and you're aiming like really good with it, and I'm talking about like mainly your initial aim, like right when you see someone, when you pull up your gun to aim down sight on them, if your aim is like spot on, you don't want to put Quickdraw on because you're already aiming really good the way your weapon is. Now if you throw Quickdraw on, it changes the way you aim down sight because it makes it quicker. And yes, that can be a good thing for you to aim down sight quicker, obviously, but sometimes it can actually mess up your accuracy because it's too quick for you and you're not used to it again, and that's not consistent, and that's why it can throw you off. Now the final attachment I want to talk about today is the stock, and this is an attachment that a lot of people use and a lot of people think is really good. And I do agree it can be, and it used to be a lot better in other games, but in Black Ops 3 they made it a little bit slower that you strafe, so it's not quite as effective as it used to be. Now one thing that people need to know about stock and Quickdraw that, you know, people get misled by what it says in the in-game statistics when you equip these two attachments, but they do not make your recoil any better at all. I want that to be known. But now for the stock does make you strafe faster, and this can be a really good thing, but the thing is, since you're strafing faster, you're not used to the speed that you're strafing at, and this can negatively impact your accuracy. Sometimes it'll help people aim better, but sometimes people just will not get used to how fast you aim with the stock, and some people need to realize that because some of them don't. They think, oh, I got stock on, I have to aim better with this, but that's not always true. Every weapon is different, and every person has a different feel for different weapons, so basically you need to try these guns with just no attachments, and then if you feel like you need to work on your aim, you can try the other attachments and see what works best for you. But I highly recommend that if you like the gun with no attachments and your aim seems to be really good, and I mean consistently good, like every single game you at least aim good no matter how good you do, as long as your aim is on point, do not add attachments like that. Don't add Quickdraw, stock, you know, optics, like things like that. Put things on like extended mag, suppressor, long barrel, rapid fire, things that won't affect the way that your gun is actually like, you know, moving around while you're shooting it and the way it feels when you're aiming. But these are some basic tips that I follow that I want other people to understand before I go into more detail about, you know, little tips of aiming and things like that, because there's a lot of things that go into it. There's a lot of little things that people need to learn. And I really hope that this helps some people, and I hope some people think about this, you know, and go through your classes and kind of, you know, think about these things, because it's really simple and it's easy to mess this up, and it's easy to, you know, kind of throw your aim off, and just throwing your aim off a little tiny bit can really just mess you up overall. So again, I hope you enjoyed. I really hope this is helpful for some people. I'll talk to y'all again very soon. Stevio out.